Guys, it's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another Sci-Fi Month 2. And this is a rant, because I haven't done a rant in so long, of the 1998 abomination film adaptation of Lost in Space. God, I hate this movie. I hated this movie even back in 1998 when I saw it as a kid, when I was a teenager. I think this movie is one of the worst film adaptations of a TV show I've ever seen. It is nothing like the show. I watched the show when I was a kid. I love the show. I love the characters. I love the storyline. I love the premise of the show. A bunch of people that a family and a doctor and a robot go into space and they get lost for like 3 seasons of the show, and it worked. There were some bad episodes of the show, but they still worked as a show. This movie does nothing like the show, and it's a freaking abomination. I've been waiting to rant on this movie for years since I got on YouTube, and it's time. I don't have the movie on me because I haven't seen that movie in years, but I remember how much it scarred me when I was 13. I was so hyped for the movie, saying, "Oh, cool! It's a cool looking trailer." The trailer was awesome, but the movie was the Batman and Robin of sci-fi movies. It was horrendous, and this was before Battlefield Earth. I don't know what the hell the filmmakers were thinking. This film, the CGI is so old and outdated, it looks crappy even by today's standards. Granted, there's a lot of bad CGI now, but this was back in 1997, 1998. There is no excuse for this. This movie is freaking horrible CGI, especially with the spiders and the freaking that monkey, that space monkey. It looks horrible. And it's just a lot of CG that didn't need to be there. Some of the spaceships look okay, but this is nothing like the show. Dr. Smith is played by Gary Oldman. He is nothing like Dr. Smith was in the show. He doesn't have the charm or the humor or the scream or anything. He's just a British guy that is evil. That's basically it. That's it. He has no depth to him whatsoever. He becomes a spider at the end of the film, and that was never in the show, and is stupid. The film is very confusing. Like, the storyline makes no sense. It doesn't follow a standard storyline. The cast sucks. The kid that played Will is nothing like Billy Mummy. Uh, William Hurt is not Professor Robinson. He sounds bored out of his mind, and he has no charisma whatsoever. Mimi Rogers, this film nearly killed her career because she never did anything else in theaters after this, not for a long time. And it's depressing because I like Mimi Rogers, but she is not a good Maureen. Um, Don West, Matt LeBlanc. Yeah, you got Joey from Friends in a big budget movie, and he couldn't save it because he's just very flat. He doesn't have any of his charm from Friends, and it's just like he was really forced into this. They were like, "Oh, we want to make Matt LeBlanc a film star," and it didn't work out. He's basically a TV star, and he's a good actor, but he was wrong for this role. I don't buy him as Don West. Heather Graham, beautiful, but not much to her either. I mean, Judy in the show was actually, more charming, and, she was lovely, and she had a lot of connection with Don. Her and Matt LeBlanc don't have a spark to save their lives. The girl that plays Penny, Lacey Chabert, beautiful actress now. When she did Mean Girls, she blossomed. But in this movie, she has this frizzy hair, and she has this stupid attitude, and she has this phone that she's doing like a YouTube like video, which is a cool idea, but I like it better now than back in 1997. She's talking to herself. She's nothing like Penny was. Penny was sweet in the show. I keep saying cartoon. There was a cartoon as well, but this is not Penny for me. I loved Penny in the show. Here, it's a freaking this is her voice. Literally, this is her first line in the movie. This mission sucks. I'm like, oh god. Even the robot. I am a fan of the robot. I have a toy of the robot. I don't know if I have him in here, but hold on. No, I don't think I have him in here. My robot. But anyway, the Robinson's robot looks nothing like in the show. In the show, he was cool. He had an awesome voice. He had a presence to him. He had a new cool look, and you remember him. He didn't have a name, but he had a cool voice. In this movie, he's some blue abomination RoboCop knockoff of RoboCop 2, and it looks like shit. The voice doesn't. Just like destroy, destroy. I'm like, oh god, this movie hurts. I hate this movie. This is one of the worst sci-fi movies I've ever seen. I needed to do a rant because I hate this movie so much. This is worse than any Star Wars movie in the prequels or even The Force Awakens, because at least that movie I had some fun. This I didn't. Even when I was 13, I still think this movie is shit. It has none of the charm of the show. It's boring. It is way too slow paced. Like it takes forever for them to get into space. The CGI sucks. The action is just there. It's not really that awesome. I remember I heard the nostalgia critic do a review for this movie, and I'm glad he ripped it a new one. He says, "How can a film that has this much budget and an awesome trailer be this bad?" And he said it's basically like Batman and Robin. And I'm like, yeah, a big budget movie that's an abomination, and it gives a finger to the fans of the show. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's freaking terrible. There's some subplot where Will is older and he has to like stay, to help the Robinsons. I don't know. It's freaking confusing. I hate this movie so much. It angers me so much. This is one rant that some people on YouTube will never do. I know Jay the Stingray, a good guy on YouTube, said this movie sucks. I agree with him. I hate this movie. People can say anything they want about 21 Jump Street or the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies or Gem and the Holograms. This is one of the worst, at least in the top 10. It flopped. I'm glad it flopped. The suits that they wore look like shit. It's too long. It feels like it's 2.5 hours because I was so bored. It makes no sense. It's a terrible movie, and I give it this to the director, to the freaking writers, the producers of this movie. You guys failed. You didn't make a good Lost in Space movie. This movie is shit. And guess what? The most insulting thing of all, the theme song of the movie isn't until the very end of the film. The end credits. It's seizure inducing. It's a lot of flashy lights. So if you have seizures, don't ever watch this movie. And it goes. I'm like, it's too little, too late. That theme should have been in the beginning of the movie. I'm glad I saw the Phantom Menace after this because that movie right there, it was better. It wasn't a freaking boring movie. It has some slow spots, but I like the characters more, and it wasn't It wasn't an insult to my childhood like this was. I hate this movie. Fuck this movie in the face. I needed to do a rant. I haven't done a rant in a long time since like the Transformers films. But if you haven't seen this movie, just watch the show. I'm begging you, do not waste your time. This is an abomination. This is a big budget film that didn't deserve to be in theaters. It should have never been released. It should have been some direct to video schlock in the early days of the Sci Fi Channel. And I've seen better Sci Fi Channel movies than this. I am not bullshitting you. And, what else can I say? Lost in Space, yeah. It's lost in space and it sucks in space. I'm glad we have movies like Guardians of the Galaxy to show you what an awesome sci fi movie is. Anyway, that's my rant on Lost in Space. This movie is a turd. I hate this movie. I don't ever want to own it. The fact that the movie was even released and had such a huge budget and was a failure and it was an insulting adaptation of a great show that I still watch to this day, and I will own the show one day on Blu-ray or DVD. They just made a box set in Best Buy. They released a box set with the robot on the front. I would love to get it, but fuck this movie in the face. Let it burn in hell with every bad sci-fi movie I've ever seen. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I hope you guys like this rant. And yeah, I hate Lost in Space, the movie. I just do.